Welcome to Inside Ledger. How are you really doing? Not the polite answer, the real one. If you're saving money every month, denying yourself everything, following all the so-called smart financial advice, and still falling behind in 2026, you're not bad with money, you were lied to. Before we go any further, smash the like button, subscribe to Inside Ledger, and comment stuck below if saving hasn't changed your life. Because here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. Saving money is keeping poor people poor. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly why this system is failing you and what actually works instead. No motivation, no fantasies, just reality. Let's go. For decades, poor and working class Americans were told one simple rule: save more money and you'll be fine. Skip the coffee, cut entertainment, live below your means. But in 2026, that advice is collapsing in real time. Inflation has permanently raised the cost of housing, healthcare, insurance, and basic necessities. Wages, however, have not kept up. When a household is already spending 85 to 95% of its income just to survive, saving becomes mathematically irrelevant. You're not failing because you're irresponsible. You're failing because the system has changed. Saving small amounts in a high inflation environment does not build security, it slowly erodes it. The purchasing power of your saved dollars declines every year, meaning your sacrifice buys you less safety over time. This creates a psychological trap. People work harder, restrict their lives more, yet feel poorer each year. The solution is not to abandon saving, but to redefine its role. In 2026, saving should no longer be treated as a wealth-building strategy for low-income households. It should be treated as a short-term stability tool. The correct goal is not saving as much as possible, but building a controlled emergency buffer equal to 2 to 3 months of essential expenses. Once that buffer exists, every extra dollar should be redirected toward increasing earning capacity. This shift changes the entire financial equation. Instead of obsessively cutting already minimal expenses, households regain mental bandwidth to focus on growth. Saving stops being a punishment and becomes a safety net that allows smarter decisions. This is the first mindset correction poor households must make. Saving is not the destination, it is the launch pad. Another major reason saving fails poor Americans is the obsession with expense cutting. Financial advice for low-income people almost always focuses on what not to do. Don't eat out, don't upgrade your phone, don't travel, don't take risks. This creates a survival mindset, not a growth mindset. The problem is simple. Expenses have a floor, but income has no ceiling. You can only cut rent so much. You can only reduce groceries so far before quality of life and health decline. Once basic needs are stripped down, further cuts produce diminishing returns. Worse, constant restriction trains people to think small, avoid opportunity, and fear uncertainty. Exactly the opposite mindset required to improve income. The solution is not to abandon saving, but to redefine its role. In 2026, saving should no longer be treated as a wealth-building strategy for low-income households. It should be treated as a short-term stability tool. The correct goal is not saving as much as possible, but building a controlled emergency buffer equal to 2 to 3 months of essential expenses. Once that buffer exists, every extra dollar should be redirected toward increasing earning capacity. This shift changes the entire financial equation. Instead of obsessively cutting already minimal expenses, households regain mental bandwidth to focus on growth. Saving stops being a punishment and becomes a safety net that allows smarter decisions. This is the first mindset correction poor households must make. Saving is not the destination, it is the launch pad. Another major reason saving fails poor Americans is the obsession with expense cutting. Financial advice for low-income people almost always focuses on what not to do. Don't eat out, don't upgrade your phone, don't travel, don't take risks. This creates a survival mindset, not a growth mindset. The problem is simple. Expenses have a floor, but income has no ceiling. You can only cut rent so much. You can only reduce groceries so far before quality of life and health decline. Once basic needs are stripped down, further cuts produce diminishing returns. Worse, constant restriction trains people to think small, avoid opportunity, and fear uncertainty. Exactly the opposite mindset required to improve income. The solution is income expansion, not extreme frugality. In 2026, the fastest path out of financial stress is acquiring income-generating skills that scale with demand. This does not require quitting a job or taking reckless risks. It starts with identifying skills that are already monetized in the digital economy. AI-assisted services, content editing, automation setup, remote operations support, or specialized freelancing. One marketable skill can outperform years of disciplined saving. Even an extra $500 to $1,000 per month fundamentally changes financial stability, far more than cutting expenses ever could. The strategy is simple but powerful. Maintain basic expense discipline, stop chasing perfection, and redirect energy towards skills that increase income velocity. This shifts people from defense to offense, from surviving to building. Saving preserves money. Skills create it. For poor households, saving almost never fails slowly. It fails suddenly. A medical bill, a car repair, a job interruption, or a family emergency wipes out months of effort overnight. This cycle creates learned helplessness. People stop believing saving works at all. The real issue is not lack of discipline, it's lack of financial shock absorption. Traditional savings accounts are too passive and too exposed for households living close to the edge. Without income flexibility, any disruption turns savings into a temporary illusion of security rather than real protection. The solution is not larger savings, but diversified stability. In 2026, resilience comes from multiple small buffers, not one fragile account. This includes a limited emergency fund, a flexible side income, and skill-based optionality. Even a modest secondary income stream, freelance work, consulting, digital services, or part-time remote tasks, acts as shock insurance. When emergencies occur, income can increase temporarily instead of savings disappearing permanently. This transforms crises from disasters into manageable events. Financial stability is no longer about hoarding cash. It's about maintaining adaptability. Poor households must stop measuring security by account balances alone and start measuring it by how quickly they can respond to disruption. Flexibility beats liquidity. The final and most important shift is moving from motivation-based finance to system-based finance. Motivation fades. Discipline breaks under stress. Systems, however, continue working when willpower fails. Saving fails poor people because it is treated as a standalone habit rather than part of a broader economic system. In 2026, the households that survive, and even improve, are those that build simple, repeatable financial systems aligned with reality. The solution is a four-part system. First, establish a limited emergency buffer, not excessive, not aspirational. Second, aggressively invest time into one income-expanding skill that the market already pays for. Third, create at least one secondary income channel, even if small. Fourth, reinvest surplus income into tools, education, or automation that further increase earning efficiency. Saving exists within this system, but it no longer carries the entire burden. Wealth for poor households is no longer built through patience alone, but through leverage, adaptability, and skill compounding. The uncomfortable truth is this: saving money is not failing because people are lazy or irresponsible. It's failing because it was designed for a different economy. In 2026, security belongs to those who can earn, adapt, and reposition quickly. For poor Americans, the path forward is not tighter control, it is smarter systems. And once that system is in place, saving finally starts working again, not as a dream, but as a tool.